So, can I tell you guys something that has really been sitting heavy on my heart for some time? And nobody said this to me. Nobody said it in a comment. Nobody left a message or they accused me of anything. Nothing like that happened. But lately, every time I post Notes from Niger, one of the videos, I have this little conversation in my head with myself that is like this big form of curiosity. And I wonder if people are starting to think that since I moved to Nigeria, am I forgetting about America? I wonder if people think that I'm putting Nigeria on a pedestal, or do people think that I'm becoming someone who only sees beauty while overlooking the beauty of where I come from? And I don't actually know if anyone has ever thought that, but I realize that sometimes the conversations we need to have, they aren't because somebody has asked us to have them. And sometimes they're because our own hearts actually need the clarity, right? So today, I'm just going to talk. There's no lesson to prove. There's nothing that drove a debate or win. And there's really no comparison to make. It's simply just a conversation. And then me venting and having this, with myself. So I've been here for a while now, and you guys know that Nos from Niger has never really been just about Nigeria. It's been more so about me paying attention, right? It's been more so about how I've always been able to find lessons in the most ordinary moments, right? Nigeria has happened to be my classroom while I'm just sitting in it right now. And I think that's the important distinction because before Nigeria, there was America. And America was always, and it will always be the place that I was born. It's where I grew up. It's where I learned to read. It's where I learned to write. It's where I discovered my love of teaching and my love of learning. It's also where I've earned my degrees. It's where I became an educator. It is where I became a speaker unknowingly. America is where I began to ask questions about leadership, questions about communication, and really the way people connect with one another way before I knew. America is where I became a wife, a mother. It's where I built a career, learned discipline, and it's where I learned consistency, learning to dream. It's really who you see today. That curiosity, the discipline, the work ethic, the education, the confidence that stands in front of a room to speak. My home has really built the woman that I am today, and I'll always be grateful for that. Now, I don't believe that gratitude has to be divided. Um, because loving one place, it doesn't require me to diminish the other. And then that something happened, right? Moving to Nigeria, not because I was running away from America, not because I thought that Nigeria was like the perfect place for me to be, but because that's where life was leading my family. And if I'm honest, I thought I knew exactly what I was coming here to learn. I thought that I was coming to learn another culture. I thought, I hope you guys can hear me. I thought that I was coming to learn another country, and I had no idea. I know I talk about this all the time, but no idea that I was actually coming to learn parts of myself that I've never been introduced to before. I mean, people often ask me, what's the biggest difference between America and Nigeria? And honestly, it's not just one thing. It's thousands of things, thousands of little things. It could be, and you guys may have seen these videos. It could be carrying water or losing electricity or sitting in traffic or my favorite, bargaining in the market. Little things like watching people create solutions with whatever they have. It is about community showing up without even being asked. It's about understanding the definition of our wife and your children being raised by an entire family, right? It's conversations that happen without you even looking at a clock. And at first, I thought these moments were simply like culture differences. But over time, I realized something. They're not just teaching me about Nigeria, they are revealing something so much deeper about me. Now, I realize that there's so many things that I've never noticed before, not because I didn't care, but because I had the privilege of not needing to. And privilege, oh my gosh, it has a way of making certain parts of your life feel invisible. I mean, you don't think about water until you have to carry it as your responsibility for basic things. You don't think about electricity until it disappears, like now. And I'm back. These are just the realities of living in Nigeria. The lights the lights went out, so I have to now record on my flashlight. So here we are. Okay, so I had to come back because these are just the realities of living in Nigeria, right? You don't understand the things, you don't know the things that you take advantage of, or you don't know the actual privilege that you have until you don't have it. And I'm not saying like we're suffering in Nigeria, because we're not. I have access to so many other things that I didn't have access to in the US, but there are some sacrifices. You know what I mean? But you just don't think about, you don't even think about community until you experience people living as though your life depended on or belonged to all of them. You really don't think about patience until life refuses to move at your pace. None of these things really make our country better than the other. Um, they simply just reveal different parts of you. And that's what I'm experiencing in Nigeria. And that's been one of the greatest gifts of this journey. So I guess it's a reminder to myself that America built me, but Nigeria is revealing me. And that has been something that has been living heavy on my heart, because you're not competing with one another, right? Neither one of those are competing. They have various different works inside of me. America taught me independence. Nigeria is teaching me interdependence. America taught me efficiency. Nigeria is teaching me presence. America taught me achievement. And Nigeria is teaching me attention. America taught me how to build. Nigeria is teaching me how to become. Now, neither of these lessons, they don't value one more than the other. What I look at it as, they're simply two different classrooms. And sometimes people hear me talk about Nigeria and they may assume that I'm saying that this is better, but that's never what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this season, it is truly stretching me in ways that I still needed. And maybe that's what growth really is, and that's what it looks like. Not replacing who you have been, but maybe allowing new experiences to expand who you're becoming. I've also realized something else, right? Comfort isn't always wrong. And I'm grateful for the comfort, but I'm also grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for the systems that actually work. Uh, I'm really grateful for everything that I've learned in my home country. But comfort doesn't always introduce you to yourself, right? Sometimes friction, sometimes friction does. Because sometimes the moments that really slow us down, they become the moments that allow us to finally see ourselves so much more clearly. Now, I've learned so much more about my patience because of waiting. I've learned more about gratitude because of scarcity. I've learned more about humility because I don't always know what I'm doing here. I've learned so much more about dependence because I can't control everything here. You see, the lights went out. I've learned more about community because people refuse to let you carry anything alone. That was new. I have learned more about motherhood because I'm raising my children in a place that values family more than I did when I grew up. I am in a place that marriage is valued and it requires us to grow together much more than anticipated. And I've never learned so much more about myself as the days go on. Who you are when things don't go according to plan. I'm a planner. Who you are when the familiar disappears, or who you are when you can't rely on who you've always been, or who your identity no longer is, or what it was attached to. I mean, these are questions that you don't really think about, and I didn't begin to think about them until Nigeria. But they exist everywhere. Nigeria just happened to be the place where I finally heard them, right? And maybe that's why Notes from Niger resonates with me and maybe so many other people, because it was never meant to be travel content. It was never meant to convince anybody to move to Nigeria, and it absolutely was never meant to compare countries. It simply was one woman sitting in a different classroom, paying attention and sharing what she's learning. Now, I've always believed that life is a classroom, and maybe that's why I became an educator, because that's what I love. I love research. And maybe that's why I'm always asking questions. I realize that classrooms, they don't only exist at a desk. Sometimes they are airports. Sometimes they're markets, or sometimes I'm seeing in Nigeria, they're churches, or they're conversations with strangers. I've had a lot of conversations with strangers. Many happen at a dinner table. Sometimes seasons of grief, and sometimes seasons of joy, and the entire country. And maybe that's the greatest mistake that we make, is believing that growth only happens somewhere else, because that's not true. America taught me lessons that I'll carry for the rest of my life, right? Nigeria is teaching me lessons that I'll carry for the rest of my life. Neither one of them cancel out each other, because together they are absolutely shaping me. So if you ever watched my videos, or if you ever wondered what I'm really trying to say, well, here it is. I'm not saying that everyone should move to Nigeria. I am not saying that Nigeria is perfect. I'm not saying that America is lacking. And I'm saying that every environment has something to teach us. And if you are willing to become the student, then maybe the question isn't which place is better. Maybe the better question is, what is the place trying to reveal about me? Because every environment teaches, every season stretches, every relationship shapes us, every challenge uncovers something that we may not have seen before. And the lesson, it isn't reserved for just one country. It's really reserved for anybody willing to pay attention. Because my country, America, built me, but Nigeria is revealing me. One gave me the foundation to stand, the other is showing me where to place my feet, right? One developed my capacity, the other is expanding my awareness, and I love it so very much. Neither experience replaces the other. Together, they are absolutely shaping the woman of God, or the woman that God is actually forming. And maybe that's what growth really is. It's not, searching for another place. Maybe it's more so allowing the place that God led you to leave you to be a better version of yourself. Because every day Nigeria is teaching me something I didn't know I needed to learn. I know it's a slogan that I say, but it is so true, because it's so much for me to learn about myself. And it simply means that, this is a lesson that I'm sitting with today. And it's something that I know that I can continue to carry every day, no matter which country I'm in, whether it's United States or it's Nigeria. If I go to Greece, which is my favorite place, I cannot wait to visit that place. Who knows? Who knows? I just love the fact that Nigeria is revealing so much about me. So, no, nobody asked me or nobody said, why are you downplaying America? Or why are you giving so much props to Nigeria? You're not from there. Nobody said anything like that. But I just felt that I had to share um, the beauty of both experiences, right? The beauty of being born in America, and then the beauty of now having the privilege, because it absolutely is a privilege to leave one country to another and still be full of abundance in another country, um, and be content enough to allow that country to reveal different parts of you. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.